All right, we're gonna do a video on refiners. You get a refiner very early on in the game here, and I want to show one of the reasons why some of the reasons you want to have a refiner, and take your time and get to know them. Over here, I've got large refiners, got a couple large refiners, and I've got some medium ones. And if I go into my base building, we can put down a portable refiner, and you should be able to make these very early on in the game. Aaron, why do you want refiners? And I know based on comments of other videos that I've posted, people are going to say, oh, yeah, so you can duplicate item duplication and this, that, and I'm going to teach you just the basics. Okay, you figure that other stuff out. I don't do, this is new. Why do we have a beacon of light coming up out of here? I'm not going to teach you all that stuff. We're just going to talk about refiners, what they do, why you might want to use them, and have them around. So you got a portable refiner, and you can pick this up, take it with you. You can put these down for mediums. What's the difference between all three of these? Okay, so the base one, the portable refiner, we go into it, we can see that one, it needs a fuel supply. So if we click into here and put some carbon in there, now we can use it. Now it's going to refine some things, and it has one slot and one input and one output. Okay. The big deal here is it needs fuel. If we go to the medium refiners, we can see that it has two slots, meaning we can combine some things here. Let me get this stuff out of here. Some nanites. We can combine a couple of things, and you could use one or two things. You can still just use one, and it has one output, but you notice there's no power needed for this one. Okay, and let's go to the big one. Let's turn my torch on. Oops, there it is. And we can see here the same thing. We've got three inputs that you can use, up to three different ingredients or inputs. You can still use one. You can use 1 and 2, or if you've got a recipe that needs all three, it's going to give you that output. But again, it doesn't require any power. Power self-sufficient. So we have these three, and then you'll be able to unlock the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 refiner for your inventory. And they're the same way. The Mark 1, these will require some power or some fuel. And the Mark 1, I believe, just has one input and one output. The Mark 2 personal refiner has two inputs, up to two inputs, and one output. So you can do stuff, throw it in there, and get going doing some refining while you're out running around. So what does a refiner do? What is that? Do I have a... Oh, it's my hover bike. Ignore it. So what do you do with a refiner? Well, as you may have seen going through the first few hours of the game, it teaches you to go ahead and put in some copper. Let's see if I can find some copper real quick. Gold, pyrite, uranium. There's the copper. So if I put this copper in and refine it with some fuel, we're going to make chromatic metal. And chromatic metal is used in other recipes and building structures and doing all kinds of stuff. So you want to be able to make chromatic metal as you would want to. And so if I put that back, now let's go back into my inventory and grab some chromatic metal and see what happens when I put that in there. There we go, chromatic metal. We're going to put that in there. Okay, so it doesn't make anything. It just, that's the end product there. Okay, fair enough. What if I put in, where is it? Let's find some carbon. Let's put carbon in here into the refiner. Oh, that's going to make condensed carbon. It's going to take 2 carbon to make 1 condensed carbon. Okay. What happens if I put that condensed carbon back in there? We're going to, here we go. Condensed carbon. Now it's going to break out one condensed carbon out into 2 carbons. Aaron, why would you need to do that? There's lots of times where you've got a stack of condensed carbon, but you don't have any carbon and you need carbon for something. All right, well, let's just make some. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive, but we can make it. So there's lots of reasons why you would want to do that. The biggest one for me, let's say if I go in here and I mine this rock and I get some ferrite dust. So I'm going to put some ferrite dust in here, if I can find it. See if we can go through here. Right, here we go. Ferrite dust. If I put that in, that's going to make some pure ferrite at a 1-to-1 ratio. So you're having a recipe that needs pure ferrite. There you go. You can make pure ferrite. And let's say you need something that has magnetized ferrite. And you need to make some magnetized ferrite. Well, you can take the pure ferrite here, and you're going to drop that in. Now you can make magnetized ferrite, and you're going to need that for some recipes. What happens if I put the magnetized ferrite in there? Making a mess of my exosuit. Put this magnetized ferrite in there. Now we go back a level, goes down a level to pure ferrite. Okay. What happens if I put this silicate powder in here? Where'd it go? Here we go. Silicate powder. We're digging around using our terrain manipulator, and we're digging around. We get some silicate powder. What do I do with that? Oh, that's just going to make straight glass. And you would need glass to make other products, specifically windows for, windows for your hab. Who's driving? Need to put a ramp there. So let's say I want to put windows here. I'm going to come in. If I have the recipe unlocked, large glass panel. There we go. I need some glass. Shoot, I'm out. Well, let me just throw some silicate powder into a refiner. Save. And then Bob's your uncle. You got a window. Okay. These all work the same way. So we've looked at portable refiners. Let's take this stuff out. And if you middle mouse click or whatever it is on your keyboard, your controller, it should pick it up and put it in your inventory. So you're not destroying it, you're picking it up. And you can make as many of these as you want, I believe. I don't think there's a limit to the number of portable refiners you can make. If you need to make 1,000 of them, go ahead and make 1,000 of them. So let's look at the medium refiner, or the level 2, the Mark II, if you have it in your inventory. Let's say I have an item in here. Let's take a look at oxygen. You're going to need oxygen for a lot of stuff. What happens if I put oxygen in here? Oh, that's going to make carbon. Okay. Did we test carbon? I thought we tested carbon. Let's take a look at that. That's probably at the bottom because I'm messing up my inventory. If we put carbon in here, it's going to make condensed carbon, and then condensed carbon goes back to carbon. I believe we looked at that. But oxygen will make carbon. So if I put oxygen in here, here's a little tip for you. Oxygen is the duplicator. So if I have, let's put some oxygen in here. And if I put in, does it work with carbon? Let's put that carbon in here too. Okay, it's going to make condensed carbon, but we can see that instead of a 2-to-1 ratio, that carbon to condensed carbon would be, now we've added oxygen, and now for our 2 carbon, we're going to make 5 condensed carbon. So make a mental note of that. Your oxygen is your duplicator fuel. And I go over that in some detail as I talk about ionized cobalt and how you can make a ton of ionized cobalt to sell to a new system and tank its economy, but make millions of units. So that's carbon. Let's try something else in here. Now there's websites. I'll try to, if I can remember. I will put the websites on there that has all of the recipes that you can do in a refiner. Let's look at tritium. Tritium is used to fuel your ship. Your single-seated ship. Okay, so that doesn't do anything with the oxygen. What if I take the oxygen out? Oh, okay, now we can make dihydrogen with that tritium. And you can find tritium in asteroid fields. Just go blasting a bunch of rocks, asteroids. You're going to get a lot of tritium so that you can make dihydrogen. So you're not down on the ground trying to find blue crystals for dihydrogen. What happens if I put the dihydrogen in here? I am totally messing up my inventory. Here's dihydrogen. Let's put that in. Okay, that's going to make dihydrogen jelly. That dihydrogen jelly is going to be used to make life packs. Can we add the oxygen to that? And what does that make? Oh, that's going to make salt. Okay, so dihydrogen and oxygen is going to make salt. So you can see where this rabbit hole goes. There's lots of different ways to mess around with a bunch of this stuff. And get different outputs. And salt is another thing that's used for lots of different recipes. What happens if I put, do I have any on me? Like some harvestable, this is fecium, this is poo. Okay, we're gonna make mordite, and that's something else that you could use. What about like a frost crystal? I don't know if I have any. Got pugnium. I don't know if I have any frost crystals or gamma roots or any of that stuff on me. I don't. What was the other thing? Haddle cores. These can be found underwater. Let's put those in there. Oh, nanite clusters. It's going to give you, so if you're out swimming around, you find some haddle cores or hadal cores, whatever you want to call them. It's going to give you one of these. Will give you nanites. Looks like 50. And this stack of 4 is going to give me 200. So if you're hurting for nanites, you could do that. So again, you can put one thing in these or two thing in these. It doesn't really matter. They don't need fuel. Your portable one does. Dang it. I haven't been talking all day, and now we're trying to do some video recording. So I would get familiar with some of your favorite recipes to put in, or how to use your refiner, how to make the most of it. There's plenty of websites that we can go to. Do I have it open? I think I do. These are just refining different recipes. Sodium's going to get you sodium nitrate. Cobalt, get you ionized cobalt. That salt's going to get you chlorine, all kinds of fun stuff. But if we go to that website, where is it? Refiner recipes. I was looking earlier. So if you come in here and you search for something that you have, let's say you have some gold, and I don't know what the output could be for gold. Let's search the recipes. And here's all the different recipes that you could use in at least a 3-pronged refiner. And you can just scroll through here. If you put in gold and refine it, you're going to get pyrite just by itself. So there's some things that you can do with that. If you get gold, silver, and platinum, that's expensive. It's going to give you 15 silver, 15 gold, and 25 platinum will get you 1 nanite cluster. That is a little bit expensive. If you have a silver, gold, and indium, 1, 1, and 1, you're going to get 30 chromatic metals. Oh, that ain't bad at all. So you can come in there and see what you want to look at for your refining. There's a whole section here on the fandom, No Man's Sky fandom.com for, I'll put the links on here. Just kind of a summary, what you can do with the refiners, some information. Here's a starting point, and then it talks about the cycling and some other things in here. Cobalt cycling, and where's the one image I wanted to show that talks about, here it is. I think nope, it's not that one. Where'd it go? Is that it? Yeah, so if you take uranium, gamma root and salt will get you uranium, but you can put uranium and oxygen will give you gamma roots. Cactus flesh plus salt will get you pyrite, but pyrite and oxygen will get you cactus flesh. These all take raw resources plus oxygen to get a different resource out of it. So lots to learn there. I just use it mostly for the chromatic metals and nanite production and making the different kinds of ferrite. It's really the main reasons I use it. I haven't had a real strong reason to use intricate, like why would I make salt? I can go fishing, I can go swimming and find salt. There's other things you can do with it, but you might find that handy. So for refiners, get to know them, get to know how to use them. There's also frigate or freighter refiners that you can have unlocked on your freighter. You can have a few of those. They work just like the large refiners. They've got a 3 slot so that you can put up to 3 items in here for refining and do not require power. Hope that helps. There's some basics on refining. Not going to teach you the dupe glitch. There's other videos on that.